GM, welcome. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Open Bell Crypto. Give me a second here. I'm going to go check on X, see if the stream's coming through. Welcome if you're joining me on X, Rumble, or YouTube. Good morning to you. Let's see here. I like to pull this up, make sure everyone can hear me. Or YouTube. Yeah, good morning to you. Can you hear me? Let me type a little quick GM for good morning, what we say over there on X for the chat. And I pull my chat up on this side as well. Yeah, we're kind of a wait and see day. Market just opened. A little slow coming to you this morning. But let's take a look. Bitcoin, you know what? Let's jump over to Yahoo and see how the market's actually opened. They were a little down, looking to open up, down, slightly in the red. Of course, with this ceasefire being a little fragile, no one really knows if it's going to hold. We'll break that down, but we're back in the wait and see mode. Yeah, NASDAQ looks like it's down, open down. Market's been open for 4 minutes. Looks like NASDAQ down 0.17. We'll pull that up. The Dow down 0.27 and the S&P down 0.13. So that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at right now. Let me just check oil. I can't really do it on that screen. Let me just check it on my phone here real quick, see where oil. Yeah, oil 99.35, so up 5.25% from yesterday. Just on the fact that people are kind of a little nervous of what's happening. There's some things happening to kind of threaten the ceasefire. Hey, Artie, GM, my guy Artie, good longtime buddy from X, joining me over there on YouTube. Cool. I don't have many followers on YouTube, so I think the more people that watch it and join me over there, same name, at Crypto Bull Ron, across all platforms, at Crypto Bull Ron. But anyway, breaking down what's happening. Like I say, to me, it's kind of a wait and see kind of day on a Thursday. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, 70,985. We see just about this time yesterday, we got up the high of the 24-hour period, $72,040. We're down 1.4% from there at 70,985. Still, on bigger picture, I'll take it. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about the news that's affecting it. Ethereum, 2,172. It's down 3.3% for the day. XRP, $1.33, down 3.8. And Solana, 8204, down 2.7%. So it looks like XRP is the biggest, having the biggest swings over there, but it is what it is. Basically, you know, we look here, this article kind of says it all. Oil price jumps 5% on Middle East ceasefire concerns. And really what it comes down to is Israel continuing to hit Palestine, saying it's not part of the deal. And the Iranians saying that's breaking that's kind of a separate war that's going on right on their back door, right next door, which is obviously there's some relation there because, started by Hezbollah, which is a kind of a terrorist force supported by Iran. So there's, anyway, we'll show some news articles. That's what's kind of scared everyone. Well, we'll look at some more. Let's jump over to crypto real quick. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has just issued a powerful call to action in a Wall Street Journal op-ed. He's urging Congress to pass the Clarity Act immediately to secure the future of American finance. So yeah, Iranian President Pezeshkian. I can't keep track of who's who in Iran. Maybe it's because they keep getting blown up, but I don't know if I don't know who they're even negotiating with. But anyway, supposedly their president, Israeli strikes on Lebanon are flagrant violation of the ceasefire and a sign of deceit. The continuation of these aggressions will render negotiations meaningless. Our hands will remain on the trigger. So, anyway, it's kind of an Israel thing. I haven't seen a U.S. statement on it, but I'm sure they're talking in the back channels. Anyway, definitely kind of unpopular overall, but that's kind of what's causing this potential problem. So we'll see how it plays out. Meanwhile, the European Union and the European countries are starting to coalesce. I told you there's no way, maybe for a week or two, but there's no way that they're going to allow Iran to charge this toll on international waters. It'd be unprecedented, right? It's not going to happen. And first here we have Italian Prime Minister Meloni saying the Straits of Hormuz must be fully open without any restrictions. Meanwhile, European Union rejects any tolls through the Straits of Hormuz, while Trump sets a deadline for Europe to militarily open the route. So it's starting to wonderful. I mean, interesting to see where it goes from here. We've got Quantum 5652 on YouTube saying, GM, war back on, wonder where oil goes from here. Yeah, we'll see, right? This is such a fragile thing. I don't know. I don't know if any of us, to be honest with you, if any of us really expected it or expect it to hold. But we'll see. We'll see what happens today. But you know what I would say is there's a lot of information going back and forth. I heard a lot of stuff yesterday. I've heard a lot of stuff today. What I would suggest everyone do, and what I'm doing, is I'm keeping an eye on the data. I'm seeing what the future, what NASDAQ's doing. I'm seeing what Bitcoin's doing. How it's reacting, how the markets are reacting. I mean, that's really what this show's about. That's really what we care about. I mean, I would like to see this get resolved one way or the other. But I'm just kind of watching crypto. Like I say, watch it. I'm pulling Bitcoin up, watching it on this is the daily chart, but you look at the hourly chart and you can kind of get an eye what's happened just since the market opened. A little dip. Now it's coming back up. But yeah, we'll see. Very fragile. Be almost miraculous, to be honest with you, if this thing holds. But like I say, they're starting to come together and say, no, we're not paying a toll, right? So we'll see. Definitely Trump wants very disappointed in the NATO and those countries. They're the ones that need the oil. We don't. So interesting. They're starting to realize that, I think. Some of these countries, Asia and Europe, highly reliant on this oil. And we know for a fact that none of the Middle Eastern countries are good paying that toll or letting someone, like I say, it would just be unprecedented to let one country hold the whole world hostage, right? But sometimes it's a matter of getting everyone around it and, in their own self-interest and get them to do it. It looks like that's kind of starting to happen today for the first time since the war started. We mentioned yesterday, Morgan Stanley, the first bank to launch an ETF. I think they had pretty good success. They were able to buy, sell or buy, depending on how you look at it. Their investors bought 444 Bitcoin at around $32 million. So, Quantum said, I heard they're sending Kushner over to Pakistan this weekend. That should solve everything. Laughing faces. Yeah. Kushner, of course, famously being Jewish and I think a little partial to Israel. So, yeah, I think seems like J.D. Vance has been over there and maybe that's a little less. Yeah, I don't know about the other negotiator, but Kushner's obviously Jewish and I think that would, maybe make some people uneasy, even though he's probably a good negotiator. He certainly understands the situation, but I would say he's probably highly biased for those at home, so he's not been as central, though in the Abraham Accords and all that, he was very central, but he's not been very effective. Luckily, Pakistan's stepped in. Pakistan used to have great relationships with America. When I'm over in Dubai, I would say virtually every Uber driver over there is Pakistani, and they speak decent English, and they were super friendly and positive. Of course, everyone that's over in you don't really get contentious people. Everyone's pretty friendly, making money. But yeah, I talked to a lot of the Pakistani Uber drivers, and they were all pretty positive, and they'd all learned English. And a lot of the older guys they talked about how their parents and grandparents talked about how, Pakistan used to have a really great relationship with the U.S. So anyway, like to see that. I like to see Pakistan stepping up there and kind of getting a little bit better reputation with the world, in the world, and a little more friendly and bringing this thing together. But anyway, that's a great shout out to Morgan Stanley. That's huge. Absolutely huge, to be honest with you. Great start. Another solid ETF. Don't forget, I think they have like 40 million active customers and like 17,000 brokers who are going to teach people about this and push their clients to buy it. Canary Capital filed an S1 registration statement with the SEC for a Pepe ETF. Everyone who knows me knows I love Pepe. Was there at the very beginning, very bullish on Pepe. I think it trades like a major. I got that from our guy Cax over there he always used to say it traded like a major, and it really does. If you look at it on any given day, it's trading right there. I think it's a great beta play on ETH, to be honest with you. In fact, I'm going to go probably buy some more Pepe. Let's see how it's responding, if at all. Of course, on a general down market, it looked pretty good yesterday. There we go. Pepe down 4.5. Man, down below 1.5 billion. It got what, 10, 12 billion, I think, at one point. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, Quantum. Yeah, I just it was in the next thing. He was just saying, hey, don't forget about the Pepe ETF. Yeah, it was just the next slide I was coming up to. Super pumped about that. I'm very bullish. I love Pepe. I love it partially because of how it trades. Love the meme, of course, all that lore. Love that. But I like how it trades. I like that like I said, I think it's a great beta play on ETH. I really do. So shout out to Canary, and this will make it easier for Wall Street. We have Pepe on our CoinZoom. CoinZoom, of course, we're early investors. I own a lot of the tokens. I use it every day. You see me posting about it. Their card. It's a U.S. regulated exchange. By the way, potentially getting listed. Part of the problem with the CoinZoom token, they have a Zoom token. Part of the problem was that you can only buy it on CoinZoom. You have to buy it. It's the only place it's available. Could be getting listed on a major exchange, not like Binance or Coinbase or anything, Kraken, anything like that, but a decent exchange. We're looking to get it out there on more exchanges now that the regulation is because we're highly regulated. We're actually even own a broker dealer, so we have to be really careful. But could happen. I talked to the founders yesterday. Could happen as early as next week. We're developing some of our own software to be the market maker on it, and that's kind of the holdup. But I think as it gains more exposure, more people find about it. That token's it's only about a 1.5 penny right now, which only puts it at around $9 million market cap, and the company itself is worth 100 million plus. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Quantum 5652 says we thought it would hit 69 billion. You know what? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, we did. We really did, right? I was thinking between 29 and 69 billion dollars. And listen, let's play a what if here. What if Bitcoin's a $1 million? how much is Pepe then? Then we might hit those kind of numbers. But yeah, right now I'd be pretty happy. I think it gets back someday over above all-time highs, and I don't think 69 billion is out of. But I think Bitcoin would have to be a million or two. But yeah, I love Pepe, man. Iranian Foreign Minister Arghachi holds call with Saudi Arabia's Prince Faisal bin Farhan. Look, let's get this settled, man. And let's get America out of the middle of it. That would help. Yeah, some data came out. Inflation data, PCE year over year, 2.8, expected 2.8. That shows inflation's holding steady. Core PCE, I think they take out fuel and food, something like that. Actual is 3.0, expected 3.1. So that came in a little better. That basically shows that inflation isn't rampant at this point, which I think gives ammo to the Fed to cut rates. Not that we're going to see on one under Powell, but he's got one more meeting and then he's done. Bitcoin or Binance launches prediction market powered by Predict.fund. I saw a few tweets about that. Billionaire Jack Dorsey's block just gave away $1 million in free Bitcoin. We talked about it here. Faucet is empty, but that's great that he's doing. He's an interesting dude, but he's a Bitcoin maxi to the core, but putting his money and influence where his mouth is, and is definitely got the Forrest Gump when he was running vibe going on there. But anyway, shout out to Jack Dorsey. Doing what he can to get out there and pump Bitcoin. Oh, hey, Quantum 5652 said, by the way, next week is the 3-year anniversary of Pepe. LP was created April 14th, 2003. Wow, we need to do some kind of party. It was really a unique time, right? I remember I turned $500 into like 35,000 on Pepe, and then bought it again when it went down. I bought it again at like 280 million. Went all the way up to like almost 1.7 billion, something like that. It was crazy, man. But it was a vibe. I'll tell you, it was just kind of everyone kind of got behind it. You'd get on X and there'd be spaces, 3 or 4 spaces with 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people on it. I've just never experienced anything like that. Everyone getting behind one coin, and it was fun. And I gosh damn, I remember I just loaned a buddy like 12,000. No, I loaned him like $6,000 on another deal we were doing, on which we did good on. We like 10, 12x our money, but he couldn't pay me back in time. So that was kind of my Degen fund. So I should have made a few $100,000 on that first pop. Maybe $500,000 or so. But anyway, I took my wife. We spent a month or two traveling around. It was our anniversary. We went to like 12, 13 different countries. Went to Dubai a couple times, had fun, man. But yeah, happy birthday to Pepe, man. April 14th. That's cool. Spain is going to reopen its embassy in Tehran today. Yeah, Quantum 5652. Yeah, the vibe was insane. It really was cool, man. I'd love to see that happen again. It was great. And I guess I should have made more money than I did. I still did really well because I got in it again and sold again at the top. And I've been buying back in since about 3 million. Time for me to do another big Pepe buy today, though, or this week, seeing that and seeing the ETF. But yeah, Spain is opening up its embassy in Tehran again. So hopefully that's a good thing. A little early, in my opinion. But hey, let's get this. Love to see this thing get sorted out. Let's move on, man. Let's make some money. Yeah, Paulie. I never got on Paulie's spaces. I couldn't handle it, right? He was such a dick to everybody and everyone. I don't know. He had a weird vibe, man. He would be like totally rude to everyone and everyone would be up kissing his ass. I never understood that, but he did have some huge spaces, no question about that. And there was others too, right? I never even went to any of his spaces. I just couldn't stand him because he was such a dick to everybody. So I never spent any time on his spaces, but he definitely had some of the biggest spaces. And Yeah, it was crazy. And then he launched that pork, the pink vape, I don't know, vampire attack on it. Anyway, that actually did okay too. I made a little money on that. I remember when he launched it, I was in Nashville. I'd just fallen asleep and I missed the first hour of it. But yeah, crazy times, man. All the history. Jobless claims came in too. Expected 210,000, actual 209. So what that means is, in this case, bad news is good news because the Fed has a dual mandate. Fed has a dual mandate of inflation, which is holding steady, and then jobs, which are worse. Yeah, you're right, Quantum 58. It was an abusive relationship. It was really weird. He was playing some mind games, man. I never understood it. I couldn't stand listening to it, but people did by the thousands. They just almost like got yeah, it was weird, right? It was like a abusive wife being attracted to the guy who slaps her around. It was weird, man. Anyway, a White House reporter, Eleanor Tourette, just said banks and crypto firms saying privately the deal on Bitcoin market structure reached could be announced this week. So she's saying that it was the behind the scenes are saying it's happening. So good. We'll finish up the news here and we'll go into one more thing. White House advisor Kevin Hassett says the U.S. still expects 4 to 5% economic growth this year, despite the war. One thing about Trump, his stuff is going to have long-term effects. He's getting trillions of dollars. He's cutting regulation, you know. Yeah, Quantum, he got people to send him all this ETH for free. It's crazy. People are really crazy on X, man. The stuff some people have been able to do, get people to send them millions of dollars. Yeah. Do you hear China got hacked on God? No, I didn't see that. Good. China got hacked. Probably their buddies, the North Koreans. Yeah. Probably got people to send millions of dollars of ETH to you get nothing.eth. And look at Pulse Chain and that back in the day too. That was Richard Hart, who I like Richard Hart, and I've been watching him for years. And I made a ton of money on his first one. I turned like a couple $100 into like $500,000. Would have been 30 million if I'd have held it. But yeah, Richard Hart got billions, 3 or 4 billion sent to him. But he actually had a product that actually worked. Hex is what it was. Kind of a CD on chain. But anyway, I haven't paid attention to his latest one. But yeah, he got several billion sent to him. But at least he produced something. Other people would probably argue with that. But yeah, on God, I haven't seen the China hack. Don't know what's going on with that. Maybe we'll talk about it on the show coming up in 4 minutes. Bitcoin. Jump up and talk about it if you have any info. But President Trump, Japan will now get 100% of its automobile ethanol and aviation fuel from the U.S. That was part of the deal we made. So Trump's capitalizing on this fuel crisis, some would say he created. But yeah, we're a next net exporter. That was very smart. OpenAI pauses Stargate project in the United Kingdom, citing high energy costs and regulatory uncertainty. They're scaring people off in droves. Crazy, man. You just can't do that. Oh, and this crazy. A solo Bitcoin miner, which is like $100, $200 little, throw it on your desk and plug it in, just hit another full block, earning 3.128. I think the statistics are once every 750 days or 7.5 years or something crazy, but that's the second one in 10 days. Okay, check DM. Yeah, we're wrapping this show up on God, but I will check that out. We'll talk about it on the GM Bitcoin Morning Show coming up. By the way, appreciate everyone live here on YouTube and on X joining me today. We're basically, the message is we're in limbo. Let's go take one last look at the traditional markets, the stock markets, seeing how it's doing today. NASDAQ still down a quarter, Dow down 0.12, and S&P. So it got a little bit better, it seems. take one last look at Bitcoin and we'll wrap it up for the day. But looking at Pepe there, we got Bitcoin, 70,000. Let's look at everything at the hour, see how we're doing. See, we're popping back a little off the lows. 70,656, down 1.2 or 1.4 for the day. We've got Ethereum, 2,161, down 3.2 for the day. XRP, $1.32.9, down 3.2. But see, it's popping up a little bit in the last few minutes. Solana, 81.77, down 2.7. But it looks like we're coming off our lows. Thanks, everyone, for joining me here today. Welcome to join me over on the GM Bitcoin show. We've got some other co-hosts and speakers over there. And thanks for joining me here for Opening Bell Crypto, man. The message is we're in limbo. We'll wait and see if this ceasefire can hold. I think we all have our